How is it going, boys and girls? Welcome back to Key West Waterman. My name is Aaron Young. If you watched last week's episode, I talked about how windy it's going to be this week. Wind's blowing pretty good. You can't really tell. The mangroves kind of conceal it, but when the wind blows, the water gets dirty. And I had dive charters this week, and I don't really like dragging people around and taking their money when I know that the conditions are crap. Anyways, I asked you guys what you wanted to see, and a lot of you guys said you wanted to see rigs, tide, and all that stuff. And I'll probably still get to that, but I got to thinking, I really need to start taking advantage of where I live. And 2 weeks ago, I made an episode about snorkeling through my canal, and it actually did pretty well. So what I'm doing today, I brought the boat over to the house. I've never done that before, so kind of cool bringing it over here, and it made it easier to load. So what I'm gonna do is I went and caught bait on the way here. I've got bait, I'm getting all my stuff together, and I'm gonna go camping. Madeline's actually working today, so she's not gonna be able to come, unfortunately. But bringing some rods, sleeping bag, towel. I'll be honest with you, I'm bringing a chunk of wahoo just in case I fail and don't catch anything. Aluminum foil, tongs, garlic, salt, and there's a stick of butter in there somewhere. I can't think of any other thing I would need other than the beers I already have in the boat. So come along with me. We're gonna go see if we can catch some dinner and camp out on a beach somewhere. Let's rock and roll. And I forgot to mention, I'm bringing a spare anchor. I don't know whether or not spare anchor and extra rope. I don't know whether or not I'm sleeping on the beach yet or on the boat. Kind of depends on the tides and the winds and stuff. And I'll grab some other snacks. Publix cookies, Uncrustables, and some asparagus. Now we have everything we need. Let's go. So to give you a little perspective on where it is I'm actually going, that's my house back there next to the boat ramp, and I'm going to these islands over here way out in the distance called Mud Key. If you're not familiar with the area, there's hundreds and hundreds of little keys and islands out there, but these are pretty cool. They've got a bunch of little finger channels and some beaches, and it's pretty close to the house, so that's where I'm gonna go. In this in the boat. You can see how much the wind's blowing. The cool thing about the Mud Keys is it's so covered up. Once you get in here, you'll see how calm it actually is. It's a really, really cool place. And I've never actually fished in here, so kind of winging it. I'm either gonna probably drift these mangrove edges, or I'm gonna try and find maybe a little cut where some water's moving through, and I'll pitch some baits in there. But never actually fished in here. I've been through here a bunch. Just normally we're kind of hanging out, sandbarring. So I'm fishing the same thing I always fish in short. Saragos 6000, medium light, Travala. I know it's repetitive, but a lot of you guys like to know this information. 15-pound fluoro, little yellowtail jig, and I'm just going to be tipping it with just small pilchards. Only found small ones today, so that's what we'll be working with. Better one. Hey, look at that. It's a keeper all day. The wind kind of grabbed me and it's throwing me into the mangroves, but just where I thought they may be. Like I said, you can see here's the main channel, and it runs like this, and there's a little tiny cut over here, and the water's pouring into that cut, so I'm just tossing it along the edge, letting it drift down, and that's a keeper mangrove all day. Because I'm going to be eating this fish tonight, I want it to cool as quickly as possible. So I've already brained it and bled it. I'm going to take the guts out. Going straight into a saltwater brine. I'm half a bucket of ice. Fill that up and in she goes. And that will cool a whole lot faster than just going on ice. I think I only need a couple of those and we'll have dinner. Change the camera angle a little bit so you can see what I'm working with here. There's not much, it's just that water flows around that corner, and as I always say, I know YouTube land, things seem different. This is the second spot I've checked. First spot I drifted down 5 minutes, nothing bit, and this is the second spot. I've been out here about 30 minutes and I've got one keeper in the boat and they're still eating them. And someone actually commented, I don't know why this popped in my head. Spending a lot of time alone, you have a lot of time to think, but someone commented on the last video and said, how can I help? Like, what's the best way to help you go full-time YouTube? Because I've been kind of mentioning that. I would love to one day. I think I still would run a charter or two a week, but the biggest thing you can do is like the videos, hit literally the like button, and spread the word. Tell somebody. They're eating it like crazy. Tell somebody that you know that doesn't watch the channel. Tell them about it. Tell them to come check it out, check out some of the videos, and subscribe if they enjoy it. That is literally the best way you can help support the channel. And again, hopefully I do this full time one day. That'd be super cool. Oh, look at the size of that one. Maybe that 13-incher was a fluke. Give it another bait or two and probably try a new spot. A lot of nibble, nibble, nibble. No real big thumps, so I think I'm gonna move on. Try and find some bigger ones. A lot of small ones here. Of course, I turned the camera off and I talked myself into one more bait. Right here, same spot. Big old mangrove. That's why you never turn the camera off. I did it. That's a nice one though, I'll take it. It's a 14-inch mangrove all day. Gonna keep on moving and see if I can find something else like that. Got two nice ones out of there. So I'm looking at this little corner. Current comes ripping across. The water's actually not flowing through there, but it's flowing across it, which makes me think some fish may be sitting on this little edge where it goes from turbulent to still. So I think I'm gonna drift a couple baits right down there. Even that little corner right there, there's a little eddy almost. Give it a try. But I'm not getting nothing there, so I'm assuming nobody's home. You can see how much current there is on that. Whoa! Whoa! Wow! I got slammed on that one right when I put the camera down. Literally slammed. I'm gonna try that one more time. Talk me into it. Not the right one, but he whacked it right when it went under that little corner there. Little mangrove. I think I'm gonna try and just poke the boat in there. Pretty cool little spot up in here. If I decide to sleep on the boat, this may be it. There won't be any current or tide taking me out. can see it, current runs right across the outside, but there's no outflow here, so it's kind of a dead end. Nice overhang. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but nice overhang under these mangroves. Could set up right here and see if we can plug a snapper or two. So these mangroves, the plants, not the snappers, are truly amazing what they're capable of. Try to be, especially when I kind of nudge up in here, I try to be careful around not to break any branches or whatnot, but they're an amazing, resilient plant. Woo! Slammed it. Woo-hoo-hoo. Nice one. He's close. I'll measure him, double check. And I'm looking for dinner, so that one's coming home. That's almost 13 inches. He's about 12 3/4. Brain and bleed as always. So I think 3 snappers is enough. I'm gonna bring one home for Madeline. Quite honestly, I probably won't eat more than 2 for dinner, so. Got about an hour of daylight left. I think I'm gonna find somewhere to lay my head. Sun actually came out. Almost cleared up a little bit. I've got plenty to eat. Got 3 mangroves in there. Probably save one for Madeline, but I think I'm gonna set up on the leeward side. The wind's coming from the east, which is running towards us. So I'll set up somewhere along here and just kind of stay out of the wind, and we'll get these snappers cooked up. Looks like somebody came and swept in here. This trail is not normally this clean. Makes you wonder. So after further inspection, there's a lot of wet ground around. And that's not something I really want to deal with in the middle of the night. The tides may be really high right now, so it appears we will be on the windward side. So I really would have liked to sleep on the beach, but you can see the tide line is way up, so looks like I'm gonna be a little bit inland. So one of the trickier parts of anchoring overnight here is that the currents fluctuate so much in the tides. So I've got 2 anchors out, lots of chain, lots of anchor, pretty much to keep me away from the beach, and that way when the tide switches one way or the other, the boat doesn't flip around and run into the mangroves. So I've got 1 anchor out here, 1 out here, and the wind is going to be east all night, so it should hold me up against the beach, but fingers crossed I'm not dry when I wake up. Big shout out to Paddle and Madeline for letting me borrow the paddleboard so I don't have to swim. So I'm a huge fan of pack in, pack out. I don't like leaving any trash, even if it's coal, charcoal from a fire. So brought a little bin to keep my charcoal in. Get this going and have dinner here in a jiffy. Got dinner in a bucket. Of all the snappers out there, these are by far my favorite, so I can't by any means say that I'm upset about it. I'm going to take fillets off, cook those separate for the sake of time. And then I'm going to do the racks in a separate pouch. Do the fillets and the racks separate, just because it's going to be dark and I don't want to be picking through bones when I can't see very good. There we are. I have some friends. They can definitely smell what I'm cooking. Baby raccoons. He said, "Man, that smells good." These raccoons are cracking me up. It's amazing how quickly they smelt this. Woo! That didn't take long. That snapper is just phenomenal. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I forget. You gotta dumb it down. That's so good. Anything's good with butter and salt though. These raccoons are gonna be a problem tonight, I can tell. I have a strange feeling I'm gonna be sleeping on the boat. The most important part of surviving in the wild. Sugar cookies. So between the raccoons and the rats, I haven't really been able to sleep much. And I came out to check on the boat. The wind really picked up and it drug both anchors, so almost against the beach. I'm not really comfortable leaving that overnight because if that gets stuck on the corner or something and the tide goes down, I'm there for a really long time, so it looks like I will be sleeping on the boat. where I started. Beautiful morning. I'll be honest, I'm glad I brought my sleeping bag. It got kind of chilly. I had to move. Don't know how much the cameras could see, but I had to move in the middle of the night. That north wind just beat my anchors to death and it was dragging me a little bit, but came over here on the leeward side, slept on the boat. Anchors did their jobs. If you ever do this, just be careful, especially in a bigger boat. You get sucked up on this side, or there's another flat over here. There's flats all over down here, but I have an anchor out that way and an anchor out that way, so you can see how fast the tide's running. It's because the tide will switch in the night. You don't want it to swing you around on one of the flats, but all in all, a good evening. Refreshing to get out here. Thanks for coming along. I'm gonna run over to the other side and grab my little fire pit that I had to abandon. Just to show you how strong that current is. That's strictly from current and the boat swinging through the night. That is pretty unbelievable. That's wild. Good Lord, I thought it was low yesterday. That's all the way out of the water. The tide is screaming through here. I am glad I moved the boat. I would have been in serious trouble. Wow. That is crazy. I'd have been on the beach. I wonder if my raccoons had a party without me. Nice little spot though. Well, that is all I've got on this one. Y'all, thanks for coming along. Not as action-packed as I would like it to be. I wish the weather would calm down. I'd love to get back to shooting fish and catching fish offshore. But I will take it in the meantime, no complaints. Nice and refreshing to get out here and do this. Again, thanks so much for your time, seriously, and I'll see you on the next one.